for the Greensboro Minimum Housing Standards Commission. First order of business is approval of minutes from special meeting on September 17th, 2025. Is there a motion?
I have a correction.
It should be the,
I told him.
in one. Yeah.
Left it with him.
Yes, in one.
Be sure and speak into your microphone.
Everybody's here. He won't get a vote, but if he wants to comment. Until we get clarifications, I don't know.
I think Commissioner.
It's on page 3.
Well, Commissioner Hawkins, you have a correction for the minutes?
Correct. On page 3, the first statement indicates that the initial vote was unanimous.
We can't hear you.
I was the one who opposed it.
Commissioner
Okay.
Hawkins, sorry, sir. I'm not sure if the microphone's on or not, but I'm having a terrible time hearing you, and I think Ms. Decker
My
may be as
apologies for the oversight.
well. No worries.
So the first, my preliminary vote in the first statement on page 3 was not a unanimous vote. That one I opposed singularly.
Yeah. So on the vote that we had on page 3 of the minutes, Commissioner Hawkins is pointing out the fact that he was a nay vote. It wasn't a unanimous vote. Did you have any other corrections?
That's the only correction.
Yes, on page 2, under discussion, it says Furlow moved to nominate Scott, seconded by Pone, and then there's a vote in which Pone voted no. I don't
that didn't
recall
make
that even
sense.
happening.
Yeah, when we
It was very,
voted.
I believe that paragraph should just be removed, because she certainly didn't second a motion and then vote against the motion. Okay, thank you.
Any other corrections to the minutes? Okay, and I guess we should also address as a commission, because during our training, we were trying to figure out who the alternate is. So Commissioner Furlow is actually the alternate. So for all voting matters, when we have the full 7 voting commissioners, Commissioner Furlow would not be voting unless there is a commissioner not present. So now that we all are on the same page, if we all weren't aware of that, then we can go ahead and call the motion for accepting the corrected minutes. Is there a motion?
I call for a motion to accept the minutes as corrected and adjusted.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
That is second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That does pass unanimously. Going on to the next order of business, requesting of staff for any changes to today's agenda.
So there's really no changes to the cases. I did not add in the voting of the chair and vice chair, and I know we wanted to go ahead and take care of that towards the beginning. So if you want to do that.
We can do it at the beginning if we want to do it now.
It would just, that's the only
Yeah,
thing.
that's fine.
I didn't specifically indicate a time of if you want to do it later, it's fine. If you want to do it now, it's fine. It's.
Does the commission want to do it now?
Make a motion to move forward with that, as opposed to the letter.
Well, I don't think we
Just
need a
in
motion.
case,
but
for the sake of thoroughness
I don't
and
think we need a
diligence.
motion, but I will take the commission as a whole. Are we fine with just doing the election now? Okay, so we'll start with Chair, I guess, again. So as of the prior meeting, my name was the only name for Chair. Are there any additions to Chair at this time? No,
additions?
so call the vote. Or is there well, we don't have to do a motion for that, right?
Chair Scott, out of an abundance of caution, I would say just go through the motion.
Do a motion. Is there a motion for closing of Chair?
I make a motion to close for chair, position of chair, and the nomination of President Chair Scott.
And is there a second? Second. It has been properly second. We'll go ahead and call the favor. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Does that, any oppose? All right, that does pass unanimously. Opening up nominations for vice chair. As of last meeting, that was Commissioner Hawkins. Is there anyone else that wants to be nominated for vice chair? Not seeing any. Is there a motion to close nomination for vice chair?
I motion that we close vice chair nominations.
And is there a second for that motion?
Second.
That has been properly second. We can go ahead and call the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? That does pass unanimously. So then moving on to next order of business, now that we've gotten that out of the way. That would be item 3. Well, thank you. Congratulations as well.
I told you all congratulations last week.
Thank you. Moving on to next order of business, item 3, swearing in city staff to testify.
Please place your left hand on the Bible and raise your right. Do each of you swear or affirm the testimony you give in the following matters will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Thank you. Please proceed.
And the next item of business, item 4, swearing in owners, citizens, or others to testify. It doesn't look like there is anyone present. So moving on to item 5, the public comment period. Again, the Housing Commission is a quasi-judicial board. Therefore, speakers may only address in general the minimum housing standard or affordable housing in Greensboro. Speakers may not address any property that is currently under investigation or may be under investigation. Speakers who attempt to discuss a specific property other than as allowed above will be asked to end their comments. Each speaker is given 3 minutes each, and staff will provide the speaker with a 10-second warning before the time expires and the mic will be turned off. Anyone here to discuss anything in the comment period? Seeing none, we will go ahead and move on to item 6, calling the first case, 136 Queensbury Court.
So for 136 Queensbury Court, the date of initial inspection was October 31st, 2023. There was a inspector's hearing on April 16th, 2023. The order to repair or demolish was issued in, I think it was reissued in January 14th, 2025. It expired in February of 2025. The property did not have to be secured. There are children in the area. There is a school nearby. The inspector for this case is Zachary Lewis. We're bringing it before you today for an order to repair. The cost to repair is minimal, 10% compared to the tax value. The biggest issue here is just the lack of response from the owner. And like I said, Zachary Lewis, who is here, is the inspector for this case.
Excuse me, Christie.
Yes, sir.
I do not have imagery on my monitor.
I don't either.
In fact, I have someone else logged in. Will remain nameless. Wow, excellent, thank you.
feel like we're stuck, so. A lot of cases, cases. And maybe go over the violations, like point out the violations. So.
Sorry, did y'all get that technical issue fixed? We're all just checking to make sure that technical issue was fixed. Perfect. All right, well, real quick then, Commissioners, I'll just ask a few questions of staff to get us through it. Ms. Holt first, and you may have mentioned this already in your previous comment, but could you confirm how any necessary notices were served in this matter?
We mailed them first class and certified. We also published them and posted the property to ensure that the property owner was aware on all notices.
Thank you. And I'll follow up with a few questions to Inspector Lewis as well. Inspector Lewis, I think it was already noted, but you are the one who inspected this property, correct?
Correct.
All right, thank you. And we see the video that has been playing here. You're the one who took the video?
Yes, sir.
And does that, accurately depict the conditions of the property when you inspected it?
Yes.
Okay, and so those conditions are reflective of what you saw at the property last time you were out there?
Yes.
How many documented violations were there, and could you kind of go through those briefly?
Yeah, so the violations, they would range from inoperable bedroom lights, dishwasher being inoperable, breakers not being labeled, like the breaker box itself, smoke alarms missing or smoke detectors missing in bedrooms, not installed smoke alarms. Let's see. Damage to the exterior siding, gutters, the downspouts don't extend properly, insect screens damaged, door frame not in good condition, deterioration, cracking, bedroom door does not lock correctly, strike plate improperly installed, ceiling unclean, unsanitary, so a lot of water spots kind of staining there. The flooring finishes before the wall, missing like a threshold. Air vents need new filters, so some dirty filters there. And that's pretty much it on this inspection here.
All right, thank you, Mr. Lewis. And I'd invite any other comment that Ms. Holt or Mr. Lewis may have, or any questions from the board.
Does the commission have any questions for the city?
No questions.
Seeing no questions, are there anyone present for 136 Queensberry Court? Not seeing anyone. Does the commission need to see any more video from the city? Seeing none, then we can close that out to commissioner discussion. Does anyone have a motion or any conversation regarding the property?
I actually have a point of clarification, I guess. It looks to be a conjoined unit, right? So a townhome style multifamily. So if we make a motion today through this board to demolish.
No, we're not asking an ordinance to demolish. We're asking an ordinance to we're requesting an order to repair, not to demolish.
And with the ordinance to repair, you said that the property owner is not communicative, unresponsive, I guess, to city staff's communication?
Yeah, I mean, we've taken it, Zach's made every attempt to get in touch with the owner. They've stopped responding to him. He could speak probably more on that part of it.
Yeah, so they initially responded at the very beginning when the tenant was still present. Seemed like they kind of got agitated with either A, not wanting to do the repairs, or B, it was a tenant dispute. Afterwards, all kind of communication was, done there.
Gotcha, okay.
The unit is currently vacant.
Yes.
Correct. And so the biggest thing here is we want to ensure that the repairs are made before someone else has tried to move in. And with the repair, also known as receivership, the property does have to be vacant. And so this is a vacant property that, again, an ordinance will help aid in us forcing the owner to make the repairs before she tries to move somebody else in.
That's the question I was going to have too, is with the estimated cost of repair being the $11,000, just the 10% of the property, was this a property the city was thinking about for
Receivership.
receivership?
It is.
I have a question on the cost of repairs. I'm noticing the state of the floors as well as some additional damage. There's nothing stated in replace or install carpet. Are they thinking of leaving the existing carpet for cleaning?
Can you rephrase that?
Yeah, so I noticed in the cost of repairs that there's nothing noted for the carpet, and in the videos here, the carpet looks severely damaged or beyond cleaning. Is that considered as a part of cost of repairs? I know that could increase the cost to repair.
So in the initial notice of hearing that we sent out, the carpet wasn't in that shape. While the tenant was there, they had an animal, and I'm guessing in the whole process of moving out and being made to leave, they kind of created some of those issues.
I'd imagine that would increase the total cost of repair.
Yes,
Yeah.
if it was added on there, yes.
Just for clarification, Commissioner McCaskill, if a violation is not on the initial hearing notice, then it cannot be added at a later time.
As a point of clarification, I also noticed that in one of the rooms, and it looked like a closet, the ceiling and the insulation therein has deteriorated to the point where it's on the floor. And based on the repair assessment in the interior, there is nothing that indicates the need for repair or estimate of repair in said space.
Yeah, that was another issue that happened kind of in that process. I was mentioned by the tenant as one of the initial reasons I went out there was a leaking HVAC unit. As you'll see in the video, I kind of walked up into the attic area. Nothing was founded then. I'm guessing the issue got worse. So then when I did a video re-inspection this past week, that's where I saw that.
Okay, so there'll be a need to modify the estimate of repair. Is that correct?
I will say, even with that damage, it's not going to meet the 50% guideline to be demolished, even with those small things added on.
I'm clear.
Any other comments or conversations? All right, is there a motion for 136 Queensberry Court?
Yes, I move to uphold the inspector to the, correction, excuse me, for the ordinance of repair. Sorry.
Could you repeat that for us, Vice Chair Hawkins?
The verbiage is not present for...
They can't hear you.
The verbiage is not present for repair. Bear with me a moment. Yeah.
Yeah, with that, we can, if you want to just, instead of using the word demolished, repair is fine.
Okay, so I make a motion to move to uphold the inspector's order to ordinance to repair.
So we do
And to
have.
allow.
Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Proceed.
So we do have a motion. Vice Chair Hawkins, is there a second?
Second.
That is second by Commissioner Jones. We'll call the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? That does pass unanimously. So the property involved in this matter, located at 136 Queensberry Court, the property owner and all parties in interest in said property have been properly served with all complaints, notices, or orders issued in this matter in compliance with the law. The property owner and all parties in interest were afforded their due process rights in compliance with the law. The property in question has more than 5 separate types of violations of any of the minimum housing code standards, and the cost to repair said violations is less than 50% of the value of the structure. The continuation of the dwelling in its current condition is detrimental to the health, safety, morals, and welfare of the people within the city of Greensboro and is unfit for human habitation. Based upon the foregoing findings of facts, it is hereby concluded that this matter is properly before this commission. The described structure is dangerous and unfit for human habitation. The order of the inspector is proper in all respects. Therefore, it is ordered, resolved, and decreed by unanimous vote of this commission that the inspector's order to repair is upheld. This the 15th day of October 2025. And calling the next case, item 7, 3823 Yanceyville Street.
So for 3823 Yanceyville Street, the date of initial inspection was March 12th, 2025. There was an inspector's hearing on June 24th, 2025. The order to repair was issued on June 24th as well. It expired on July 24th. The property did not have to be secured. There are children in the area. There is a school nearby. The city is requesting an ordinance to repair. Again, minimal cost compared to the value. And Zach Lewis is also the inspector for this case. And as far as service of the notices, we sent everything first class and certified. We actually received the first class, the certified receipt, the green card back, signed by the owner. So we achieved proper service that way. We also posted the property. So the owner has been properly served.
Thank you, Christy. And I'll just ask Inspector Lewis a quick follow-up questions as well. Inspector Lewis, again, you are the one who inspected the property and documented the violations, right?
That's correct.
And there's been a video playing. Are you the one who took that video?
Yes.
And does it accurately depict the conditions at the time of your inspection?
Yes.
All right, excellent, thank you. Can you speak to how many documented violations there were at the property?
Yes, so kind of going down the list, plumbing systems not installed correctly, bathtub not in sanitary condition, not working as intended, leak coming from different areas throughout, needs to be checked and repaired by a licensed plumber. Some of the other ones include a tree growing out of the chimney, broken gutter / downspout. Downspouts need to usher water away from the structure. Exterior door handles loose and or missing throughout. Air vent not secure, needs to be replaced or repaired. Dishwasher not working properly, needs to be repaired or replaced. Cover to air handler needs to be added. Air ducts need to be sealed properly by a licensed HVAC technician. Interior flooring not in good repair. Ramp not secured, needs to be repaired. Exterior roof fascia damaged, needs to be repaired or replaced. Huge hole in the front yard needs to be repaired and or covered up correctly. Interior wood board loose, not installed correctly. Cabinets and bathroom not installed correctly and or damaged, needs to be repaired. Closet door needs to be repaired or replaced. Cracking paint and ceiling, hole in wall. Light switches installed incorrectly, need to be repaired or replaced by a licensed technician. Interior light fixture missing, globe or cover. Interior outlets installed incorrectly. Open ground needs to be repaired. Broken light fixture. Thermostat not working correctly. Doorbell damage needs to be repaired. We have exposed wiring throughout the garage, needs to be covered. Same thing with the basement, exposed wiring in basement. Basement hatch not installed correctly. Exterior porch not secure. Missing required smoke detectors throughout. GFCI outlet missing in required areas, laundry room, bathroom. Bathtub installed incorrectly, needs to be corrected by a licensed plumber. Piping installed incorrectly, needs to be checked and serviced by a licensed plumber. Rusty connections on water heater. Water pressure very weak throughout. Relief valve needs to be discharged in a way that extends to about 6 inches from the ground, and that's on the water heater. And that's about it there.
Thank you, sir. And can you also speak to any responsiveness from the homeowners or lack thereof?
Yeah, I did, kind of like the other one, I got some initial response in the beginning. At that point, it was due to the tenant's large breed animals that she was scared of. At that time, she said once the tenant moves out, she would fix everything in earnest. Once the tenant moved out, kind of got a different story. Started getting this, well, I don't understand why I should have to do this when there's nobody living there. And then after that, kind of nothing.
If there are any follow-up questions from the commission.
Does the commission have questions for the city?
Most definitely.
I just have one question. Where do you get your cost of repairs from? Like, where does that number come from? It may have been something you said before, but I just...
There's a fact sheet that we use to look up the data, and I think it's the reference standards for all across the board.
I have a question regarding the exterior. You indicated that there was a hole, and based on what I saw in the video, is that an access point in the yard or on the property to access the house, or is that just some extra stuff in that hole? It looked like a door sort of situation or a table, some sort of something in that hole.
It looked like a haphazard attempt to cover said hole, but it didn't lead anywhere. It was just a large hole.
I see.
Are there kids in the neighborhood close by?
You said kids?
Kids.
Yes.
Well, that hole has potential to really hurt someone. Shouldn't that be covered up right away?
At least filled.
I would think so.
It's probably the owner's responsibility, though, so they aren't going to do it. The city's not going to do it, the owner, because it's on the owner's property.
Well, if someone gets hurt, who's responsible? The owner?
The owner?
The owner, yes.
Yeah.
The owner.
Yeah, we'll look a little bit closer at the hole. If it's in the yard, we could probably do it through a nuisance violation, and just, if the homeowner doesn't choose to do it, we can if it's in the yard, right?
Yeah, I was going to speak a little bit more. So initially, it was covered up a little better, and then at some point during the process, I guess whatever they were using to cover it shifted, and so now it's more in the hole than anything. So that's kind of new evidence there.
Well, the cause for concern there is great because it creates a clear and present danger to anyone who's unaware, and then lo and behold, they're walking through there, and then next thing you know, they're either in a hole or cut open by what's in the hole, and that creates a whole other series of problems and concerns that would again fall to the owner of the residence, or the owner of the property, excuse me.
Question for staff. Help me remember, for housing services rehab program, does that constitute the receivership program, or is that something different?
I believe it's two separate programs.
Okay.
Yes.
And with this property appeared to be abandoned at this point, is this property also up for receivership?
Yes, sir.
And when was the last attempt to make contact with the property owner?
Give me just one moment.
It looks like it was on 10/6.
Yeah, that would have been it.
Last week. Okay.
Yeah, I do have a quick question. I guess, with this property being owned by a trust, does that cause any additional complications for the receivership program?
I don't, it should not. I mean, the Miss, I cannot pronounce the name, but we have a specific owner. Yes, it's owned by a trust, but we have a specific owner we can identify.
Yeah, I mean, to be able to identify the owner, one of the trustees, and move forward in that manner, I wouldn't anticipate any complication based on that.
Does the commission have any additional questions for city staff? And it doesn't look like there is anyone here representing the property, so we will close that portion out. Is there a motion amongst the commission?
I motion or move to uphold the inspector's order to adopt the ordinance to repair.
We do have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
That was properly second. We can call the vote. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That does pass unanimously. So the property involved in this matter, located at 3823 Yanceyville Street, the property owner and all parties in interest in said property have been properly served with all complaints, notices, or orders issued in this matter in compliance with the law. The property owner and all parties in interest were afforded their due process rights in compliance with the law. The property in question has more than 5 separate types of violations of any of the minimum housing code standards, and the cost to repair said violations is less than 50% of the value of the structure. The continuation of the dwelling in its current condition is detrimental to the health, safety, morals, and welfare of the people within the city of Greensboro and is unfit for human habitation. Based on the foregoing findings of fact, it is hereby concluded that this matter is properly before this commission. The described structure is dangerous and unfit for human habitation. The order of the inspector is proper in all respects. Therefore, it is ordered, resolved, and decreed by unanimous vote of this commission that the inspector's order to repair is upheld. This the 15th day of October, 2025. Moving on to the next case, item 8, 1711 West Ridge Road.
So for 1711 West Ridge Road, the date of initial inspection was June 13th, 2025. This is a fire case. The house caught on fire. The inspector's hearing was on August 12th. An order to repair or demolish was issued. I think I have some of these dates wrong. In August, it expired September 11th. The property did not have to be secured. It was secured by the owner the best it could, or the owner's insurance company. There are children in the area. There is a school nearby. I think we forgot to put on the fact sheet, but the cost to repair is over 100% of the value. It's a total loss. the owner does have a mortgage on the property. They have essentially placed mortgage insurance on it because they did not have their own policy. So it's been a little bit slower than some, communication has been a little bit slower than some typical insurance claims. We weren't getting a lot of information initially about what it's clearly a total loss, like I said. So we started our process in hoping to get some response. We just recently started getting some better dates as far as some activity. My understanding is the insurance company tested for asbestos recently. There was asbestos found in the house, so they're pricing the abatement of that, and then most likely we'll be trying to work on a demolition permit. But again, we're trying to do our due diligence on this. We start off with not a lot of firm dates, so we kind of are moving it through our process. We did serve the owner with all the proper notices. I've talked to her more than once. The inspector who is sitting behind me, Angela DeBose, she has talked to her more than once. I'm starting to feel a little more confident that the insurance company is actually going to be demolishing it, but again, we're trying to do our part and kind of keep them on track. So, but Angela took the video and she can answer any questions about that.
And sorry. Angela, if I may, again, you are the one who took the video, correct?
That's correct.
And what we've seen on the screen, that accurately reflects the conditions on the date of your inspection, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And with regard to, maybe it goes without saying, but based on the damage that you've seen, the valuation of the structure compared to potential to repair, I suppose kind of speaks for itself. Commissioner, if y'all have additional questions, I'd be glad to.
Question. One with Inspector DeBose. I think it was stated that there's been numerous communications, or at least more than one communication with the property owner. It looks like the only communication we have in our binders is showing October 8th with the letter dated to the property owner, Kevin Pinson. I guess, what are the other correspondence or communications that we've had, or the city's had with the owners?
There's been numerous emails going back and forth between myself and the office and with the owners and the lawyers and with the insurance company.
And with the state of or the condition of the property, is it completely sealed where nobody can get in, or with this, with it being children around and a school nearby, just my concern is anyone trying to get into the property, if it's not properly secure and potentially asbestos being in there and some of the other conditions, what is the city able to do if the property isn't secure where individuals can actually get in the dwelling?
Well, for right now, the front door is locked, and as you can see, all the windows are sealed, front and back. The majority of the damage is to the roof or to the upper level of the house, and they were able to secure that as well. And also in the back, lower half wasn't damaged. Wasn't enough damage, but they still secured the whole property. Now, the very, very rooftop where they couldn't get to, that has not been secured, but I can't see anybody getting in there, having access to that part of the house.
That was the thing that kind of caught my attention, just, somebody that might be athletic that can get onto the roof based off of, and just didn't know, I didn't know if it was fenced in, if there was some type of outer fence that's preventing.
There is not at this time.
Any other questions for city staff?
And also for clarity, basically what we're saying is we want to, or, the city is wanting to do this ordinance so that it's in place in the event the insurance company does not demolish, like they're saying.
Again, so we know for a fact, because, I know for a fact that they don't have a traditional insurance policy on this property. It's through, because they didn't, the mortgage company did. And so there's been extra hoops that we typically we wouldn't bring you all a case that we know that insurance is working on. With this case, our concern was that there wasn't going to be, how that actually works with them having a mortgage on it and having that forced place coverage. If they don't do it, we want to have the option of being able to do it. So
That makes sense. That's what I thought. I was just clarifying.
Any additional questions for city staff? Seeing none, I don't believe anyone here is representing the property, so we'll close that out. Is there a motion?
I move to uphold the inspector's order to demolish.
Did you get that? No. There is a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
That was properly second. We can call the vote. Vice Chair Hawkins second that one, I believe. We can call the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? That does pass unanimously. So the property involved in this matter, located at 1711 West Ridge Road, the property owner and all parties in interest in said property have been properly served with all complaints, notices, or orders issued in this matter in compliance with the law. The property owner and all parties in interest were afforded their due process rights in compliance with the law. The property in question has more than 5 separate types of violations of any of the minimum housing code standards, and the cost to repair said violations is greater than 50% of the value of the structure. The continuation of the dwelling in its current condition is detrimental to the health, safety, morals, and welfare of the people within the city of Greensboro and is unfit for human habitation. Based upon the foregoing findings of fact, it is hereby concluded that this matter is properly before this commission. The described structure is dangerous and unfit for human habitation. The order of the inspector is proper in all respects. Therefore, it is ordered, resolved, and decreed by unanimous vote of this commission that the inspector's order to demolish is upheld. This the 15th day of October, 2025. And moving on to the next order of business would be the commissioner discussion reflection. Are there any topics amongst the commission that we would like to discuss here today? Vice Chair Hawkins.
I'd like to extend a formal welcome to our new appointees to your first formal commission meeting. Have at it. And welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you for that. Any other topics or items to discuss amongst the commission? I think with some of the items that we kind of talked about last week in training, I think we, still need to give city staff time to review some of those so we can kind of table those conversations to next month in November and maybe follow up with some of, any updates that city staff might have with some of the ideas that we kind of threw out with potentially, things to consider on how to make housing safe and affordable and figure out those nuances to still stay within state law and city ordinance. Outside of that, if there is nobody, you have another item?
I do, yes. I'm working toward putting together a partnership forum, and need to know from the city attorney's office if that's something that's within the purview of our commission to combine specific groups, one dealing with mental health, one dealing with in-home care, and then one dealing specifically with housing. So 3 pockets of, or 3 areas, specifically Guilford County behavioral health. Another one being a group that does in-home hospice care, but also nurse practitioners and the like, but then also the Minimum Housing Standards Commission, because everything comes together there. Housing, mental health, and then physical health as well. So is that something that's doable to bring together?
One moment, Commissioner Hawkins.
Certainly.
Commissioner Hawkins, I would invite you to maybe send me a little bit more information about that. My off-the-cuff reaction is that, particularly if that is something where it would really be the commission looking to have a direct role in that, I think that is something that we would really need to kick up to the manager's office and a city council to have their buy-in on kind of what that looks like. I put that in sort of one bucket of things, and then perhaps initiatives and efforts that would be more sort of staff-driven on the city side as kind of a separate thing, but would invite more conversation about it.
Excellent, thank you.
Yes,
and yes, city staff would be directly the hands-on component. Ours would be just a question of presence, so that our residents are aware of who we are, how we move, our purpose, and the like, but city staff would be the direct engagement group for such an event.
Gotcha. Yeah, let's definitely have some follow-up. I do think it's something that would need to be looked at through manager's office, council, and the like to make sure that everybody had the blessing was there.
Very well.
Any other topics? All right, seeing none, is there a motion to adjourn?
Yes, I make a motion to adjourn this monthly meeting of the Minimum Housing Standards Commission.
There is a motion. Is there a second?
Yes, sir.
That was properly second. We'll call the vote. All in favor? Aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? That does pass unanimously, closing today's meeting at 2:21 p.m.